What's going on, everyone? Super here. Welcome in and welcome back. Firstly, I just wanted to thank every single one of you for the amount of love and support you've shown through this series. This is part 4 and the final part to my beginner guide to play Killer. These are just tips and tricks that I wish someone had shared with me when I first started playing Killer. I know that Killer can get very frustrating, so I want to help take your games from frustrating to fun, and I can't wait to share this with you guys. Y'all, thank you again for all the love and support. Let's hop into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys in the fog. Let's go. Alright, y'all, the first tip that I have for you guys today is to learn when to slug and when to hook. This is extremely important. As you gain experience and as you play more games, you'll notice that survivors will become more and more efficient doing generators. Sometimes they'll spread out between 2 to 3 generators. Sometimes 2 or 1 generator will pop before you can even get your first hit in. It is extremely important to learn how to create pressure, and we do this by slugging. Now, you don't need to slug for the 4K. You don't need to slug to secure kills. This is more so just to create pressure. If you have one person on hook, one person slugged, and one person trying to pick up the person who's slugged, then you have 3 people off of generators, slowing down the game progress for survivors and allowing you to plan another action of attack. This is going to help you so much later on, and normally you want to start slugging when the survivors get to 2 generators left to complete and you only have maybe 3-4 hooks. This will allow you to generate the pressure that you need in order to take control of the situation. Now, I want to reiterate, please don't slug just for the sake of slugging. There should always be a tactical advantage to it. And yes, survivors may get frustrated and upset with you for doing it, but this is just to help control the situation. The next tip that I have for you guys today is to learn how to play different tiles. This is extremely important as well. There are so many different tiles in a game. You have semi-safe pallets, you have god pallets, you have places like shack, you have TNL walls, you have jungle gyms, you have pallet jungle gyms. There are so many ways to play different tiles that it's absolutely incredible. And yes, most of the time there is a correct way and an incorrect way to play them. Now, someone who I look up to a lot and a content creator that I watch a lot is Darva, and he does a breakdown of individual tiles and shows you what the ideal way to run them is as a survivor. If you're a killer, now you know the ideal way for survivors to run it. You can push survivors away from that ideal way to run it, and you can get the jump on them. I will link that video down below, but this is incredibly important because knowing how to play tiles correctly will improve your efficiency. It'll tell you when you need to break pallets. It'll tell you when you need to leave pallets be. And also keep in mind that the power of your killer sometimes makes a world of a difference. If you're playing clown at a semi-safe pallet, you throw down your toxic bottle, more often than not, you're going to be able to outplay survivors and get that hit or get that down. So keep that in mind. Know when to break pallets, know when to keep them up, and keep learning about tiles. This next tip kind of goes in line with the previous tip, but you don't need to insta-break pallets. Again, this is all about knowing how to play certain tiles. What I generally prefer to do is if a survivor is really good, they're going to wait to see where you go before they run off. They're not just going to drop a pallet and then run away. They're going to try to play that pallet. Now, if you wait for your either stun animation to start or wait for the pallet animation to fully drop, you can do a couple things like fake the move. So you can pretend you're going left or right, causing the survivor to go the opposite direction to try to stay away from you. And rather than chasing them through, you can break that pallet. Or even better, if you know that you are on a bad side of that pallet, maybe the survivor has a jungle gym next to them or a TNL wall, and you know that it's better that they're on the other side of that pallet, you can force them to go to the other side of the pallet where the dead zone is, or a place that's less strong. Break that pallet, force them to that dead zone or to that tile that isn't as strong as it was, and you can outplay them there. It would be so much better to break a pallet, force a survivor into a TNL wall, rather than breaking a pallet and allowing them to go to a jungle gym next. Super important, and this goes with knowing what tiles to play, what tiles to not, and knowing how to play tiles. And the final and most important tip that I have for you guys today is one that is repeated over and over again, and I'm going to repeat it because it is so important. Make sure you play Survivor. It is extremely important to play Survivor. That way you know how a Survivor thinks. You know how a Survivor might panic. You know how a Survivor will look at the map and how to start the game, how they generate pressure. You're going to learn so much from playing 100 games of Survivor and 100 games of Killer versus just 300 games of Killer. Please, please, please make sure you guys play Survivor. You'll learn how to counter other killers' powers. You'll get and feel for what the perks are for Survivor, and it's going to help you out a lot. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video if you appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much for staying with me through this beginner guide, and don't forget to have an absolutely awesome day. Bring your favorite offering, that way you can get them blood points, and I can't wait to see you guys in the fog.